Hey friends, welcome. You know, Satchidanand, this very term is, you can say, the foundation term, which indicates the very quality of that which is nameless, which is the very foundation of everything. Means consciousness. This term is actually a Sanskrit term. It is derived from Vedas and other non-dual scriptures which wrote in different times by different people who understood, who cracked the nature of their own reality and the reality of everything, which is consciousness. At least the popular term is used for that is consciousness. How do you define Satchidanand? What it really means? As per the popular saying, or the popular notion, you can break this one term syllable wise into three parts. Let's start with the first, which is Sat. What does Sat mean? Sat represents the truth, the very existentiality of everything, which is unchangeable. The very unchangeability, on the very unchanging unchanging nature of everything is being described in one word is Sat, means truth, which doesn't change, which is not volatile, like every other thing. There comes the next, which is Chit. What is that? The truth. First comes the truth. What is this truth about? One is all of these three words is connected to each other, chain wise. What is this truth about? This truth about is Chit. Means this is not a void. It's conscious. Chit means consciousness. This is true because of this being conscious. It's not voice, it's not nothingness. It's conscious simultaneously of both nothingness and everythingness, if I may say so, if I may give this term to everything. It knows the both parameters of the side. One is nothingness and the other is everything. It is conscious of aware of both the sides, both dimensions simultaneously. But it doesn't become that. It has its own independent existence. It is resplendent of everything. It is shining forth. It is shining, illumining everything, everything finding its expression out of that, but it doesn't become that. It is the pure consciousness. Chit refers to that consciousness. And then at the last comes Ananda. What does Ananda mean? How is this consciousness? What is this consciousness is conscious of? It is the consciousness, it is the conscious of its own predominant inherent nature, which is bliss. It is conscious of bliss. It is bliss by nature. As many of you, and in fact, every one of us, have gone through that bliss. Some way or the other, we have experienced this in our deep sleep, in our regular life, even in dream. These three states come into being, one of side by side, one after the other, in in the surface of consciousness. Consciousness is aware of these three states: waking state, dreaming state, pure deep sleep state. one goes after the other chain wise. So consciousness is aware of all of these three, but it doesn't become that. Because of this consciousness, everything is existing, everything finding its expression, everything is happening. The foundation of everything is knowing. Who is knowing all this? It is the very consciousness which is permanent, which is truth, means Sat. By nature, conscious. What is it conscious of? Bliss. These three fundamental quality of the consciousness doesn't change. Vedas depict that consciousness as Brahman, all pervaded consciousness. Everything is comprised with that consciousness. Consists. Everything is consists by that consciousness. Consciousness is the foundation of everything. But this is the idea of that Satchidanand. But how can you experience that and implicate that in your daily life? The answer is very simple. It is through the consciousness only. You are, it is the very nature of yours either, no, and everything else is. Though people don't know and people have no idea of it. Very rarely, barely there are people who know the actual truth of everything. But the very foundation, the very core fundamental reality of yours is that. So through that only, the purest form of that only, you can be aware of its nature also. And you can implicate that in your daily life. First, you have to be humble by nature and accept. You gotta be accepting the truth without any distortion, the way truth is. You you have to look, see, perceive the truth the way truth comes to you and accept it exactly the way its nature is. And then you have to focus on, you have to be observant of everything. You have to have a sharp, clear, a very diligent mind, like a scientist, like a detective, without any distortion. You have to see things by their nature. And with the practicing of awareness, as you go on practicing with the help of your core being, which is awareness, one after the other, chain will be breaking and will move forward in this path. You'll go on breaking shackles one after the other, and finally you'll realize whatever you realize. The very truth, I won't say that. It's not for me to tell you what it is, what you'll understand at the end. And remember one thing, it is not a practice. Awareness is not a practice. Pure intelligence, understanding everything through that intelligence, the very understanding of everything is not a practice, dogmatic practice, which people, mostly religious people, do on a daily basis and do a whole lot of things in the name of religion. It's not that. Awareness is not practice. Awareness is pure. It's like a light. Light illumines things, the how the things are. It's like mirror. Consciousness is also giving you a mirror view of everything, just the way they are. All you got to do is to crack the very truth of everything without any distortion. Practicing it in the sense that, not practicing in terms of a notion or belief system. That's how things being distorted in the whole world because of blind practices. Even science It doesn't understand the very reality of consciousness, because science takes the, the opposite part. I'm sorry, the science takes the opposite path to crack the very nature of consciousness. Consciousness is not to be known of its nature in that way, the way science wants to know. Consciousness has to be known in its own way, which science doesn't follow. Science is very much outward bound. Science science has already a notion of everything. That is the problem. Science is also very much dogmatic of its own nature. Science sees everything in terms of matter. Science is all about materialism. Science doesn't crack the truth of consciousness. Science cannot accept this very reality that everything came into being out of that's one truth, which is consciousness. It is the very foundation reality of everything, and everything is that only. That doesn't appeal to science. Science takes another path, and whatever the path science takes, it won't be the truth of consciousness won't be cracked through that. The the direct and the most clear method of knowing the consciousness is your own experience. The very experiential way is the perfect way. You experience consciousness. Consciousness is the very experience. It is the direct way. You can know it. You can analyze it. You can research over it directly by its own nature, which is consciousness. You can apply it to anything that you want, even itself. It is supposed to be known experientially, which is the most prominent and perfect way of knowledge. But science doesn't take that path. It is so outward bound, not inward bound. That is the problem. Anyway, take care of yourself. Thanks for your time. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.